to my channel. So on today's video, I'm going to be doing my labor and delivery story. If you guys are new here, I do have a son. His name is Tamir, and he is almost 2.5 years old. He'll be 3 in September. So this video is kind of long overdue, but not really. I feel like labor and delivery is one of those things as a mother that you'll never forget. So I want to tell you guys the story of how I was in labor for well over 25 to 30 hours plus. So yeah, if you guys are interested in hearing this story, make sure that you guys go ahead and give me a huge thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't subscribed already, and let's get started. So with Tamir, I carried him to 38 weeks in about 5 days. We went to my 38-week appointment. I was 38 weeks and 4 days. And we didn't see my actual doctor. We saw the nurse practitioner because my doctor was actually in labor at the time. And they noticed that my blood pressure was really, really high. So this had been the second time during the pregnancy that my blood pressure was very high. I must admit that I was taking my medicine, but I was a little stressed about, you know, the whole birthing situation, our living situation at the time, our car situation. It was just a lot of things that was weighing on me at the time, so I was a little bit worried. They did take it a second time, and the doctor decided, okay, this is a little bit too high. We need to send you to labor and delivery to rule out preeclampsia. So at a certain point in your pregnancy, if you do have an emergency situation or a delicate situation, you don't have to go to the emergency room. You go straight to labor and delivery. So that's what I did. So we got to labor and delivery on a Thursday, like afternoon, I want to say around like 1 or 2. And we were there for like, you know, it's one of those processes that does take a long time. So we were there for a few hours, and they ruled out preeclampsia, and they told me to just double my dosage. At the time, I was taking labetalol twice a day, 200 milligrams, but they told me to take it still twice a day, but double it, so 400 in the morning, 400 in the afternoon. So that was Thursday. Friday morning, at this time, Tamir is getting a little bit heavy in my womb, and I had been doing a lot of walking because everyone says to help with delivery that you should do a lot of walking, have sex, and you know, like swim if you can. And during the time Tamir was due, it was in September, so it was still pretty hot here in California. So we didn't do the other things, but we most definitely did a lot of walking. So as I was walking, Tayari and I was talking in the morning, and I told him, you know, I need to check my blood pressure. So I don't have a blood pressure machine at home, which I still totally need one. But I knew that our local Walmart did. So what we did is we went to Walmart, and I checked my blood pressure, and it was still pretty high. It was like, it was a high number. I don't remember exactly. I think it was 100 and something over like 80 or 90 something, which is like really, really high. So yeah, so I called the doctor's office again, and I spoke to the receptionist, and she said again to go to labor and delivery. I explained to her that I had just went the following day, and she was saying to just make sure there's not preeclampsia, to go ahead and go again. So I was like, okay. So I told Tay, I was like, you know what, babe, this time though, I am not leaving without my baby. I'm 38 weeks and 5 days. I'm considered full term. Let's put everything in a car. So we had already packed our hospital bags. We already had the car seat inside of the car. We just need to put the bags from the house into the car. So I told Tayari to do it. So Tayari ends up putting everything in the car, and we go ahead and head to the hospital. So I go in, I check in, and they send us up to labor and delivery. So we're there, and this time instead of being in triage, they put us in this little room by ourselves, like a laboring room. So while we're in there, they took blood again. They asked me when I was there. I told them that I doubled my medicine like the doctor prescribed, and my doctor just so happened to have just delivered, so he was still in the labor and delivery area. So he came in, and his name is Dr. Tuggle. So if you guys are in the Moreno Valley, Riverside area, I'd highly, highly recommend Dr. Tuggles. He's an older black man, an older black doctor, and I love him. He's so calm and chill, but like, he's amazing. And at the hospital, most of the time, it's whoever is on duty delivers you. But with our doctor, because he's such a prestige doctor, nobody else can touch you. It's only him. So I knew that my doctor that I had been with my whole pregnancy was going to deliver me, but that's another story. So, yeah, so Dr. Tuggles came in, and he walked in and he was like, Baker, how are we doing? And I'm just like, well, they ruled out preeclampsia again. And he was looking at my chart at the same time, and I was like, you know, I'm 38 and 5, or 38 and 6, 5 or 6. And he was just, and I was like, can I be induced? And he took a pause and he looked at the paperwork. He looked at me and he was like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and induce you. And he was like, okay, we're going to go ahead and get the process started. We're going to have a baby. I was like, oh my God, okay. So, when I looked up labor and delivery videos on YouTube and heard about being induced, I only heard about women being induced by Pitocin. However, when I was there, I never got checked. So I never got checked. I was 0 0. So I wasn't dilated. I wasn't effaced. I wasn't anything. Tamir was still up there. And I think if I didn't get induced, Tamir probably would have went to like 40 weeks. Probably 41 or 2 weeks. But anyway, so the nurse came back in and she said, we're going to go ahead and put you in another room and we're going to induce you and start your labor. So around this time, it was about 7 o'clock. So the nurse came in, she brought me my gown, she brought me like this soap, and she told me that I need to take a shower and wash my body in this whole soap just in case we have to do a C-section. So by this time, I'm so excited, I'm so nervous. And I'm looking at Tay like, oh my God, it's time, it's time. So we go to the other room. I take the shower, and then I get back in the bed, and she says she's gonna put my IV in, and I can still see the mark from my IV. That was painful. So she put the IV in, and she said the on-call doctor was gonna start my induction, because Dr. Tuggles had left. So I was like, okay. So he came in, and it was another gentleman, and he had the biggest hands. Oh my God. So he told, it was myself, Tay, and then my younger sister, she came, and she was in the hospital with me. And he explained to me, like, you know, we have to go ahead and get the labor started. How we do that is we use what's called Civadel. I'm going to leave it on the screen. I'll spell it out for you. And basically what it is, it's a little tablet looking thing with a string, and they have to put it on top of the sac or whatever to get the labor started. So that means that, again, remember, I hadn't been checked ever. My cervix has never been checked. I know that I wasn't dilated because I didn't have any contractions throughout my pregnancy. I didn't have any contractions, any Braxton Hicks or anything. So yeah, so I was not ready for what was about to happen. So he told me to lay back, and he told me to take a deep breath. And as he went in, I literally started pushing up the bed. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. He was like, ma'am, I need you to come back down. He was like, you're going up too high. And I swear to you, that was the hardest part of labor. Not even pushing Tamir, not extra contractions. That hurted so bad. Like right now, I can just feel him inserting it. So after he inserted it and I sat there, that was Friday evening. He left, and then yeah, so labor began. So there are 3 types of labor. There is early labor, active labor, and transition. So I was still in early stage of labor because it's from 0 to 6 centimeters, and again, I was completely closed. So that was about 8 o'clock. They told me I couldn't eat anything, and that morning I literally only had like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So because I had to try to lay off of all you know, salt and my intake of like caffeine and everything, I have to drink only water. So I was drinking water, and then I had like a peanut butter and jelly, and that was it. So that night I went to sleep, and Saturday morning, so at this point I was 38 weeks and 6 days, I woke up. It was 6:45, and I felt hot. What feels like I peed on myself, but I know I didn't because I would have got up. And my water broke. So Tayari and my sister were knocked out. And I was like, babe, tell the nurse my water broke. So Tayari hops up, and he went and told the nurse, and she came in and she checked, and she was like, indeed, your water broke. So once your water breaks, they give you 24 hours. You have to have the baby within 24 hours of your water breaking, because if not, you risk infection because the baby is exposed because it doesn't have the fluid around it. So that was at 6:45 in the morning. So I had to wait till I got to 4 or 5 centimeters until I was able to get the epidural, which I knew before even getting pregnant that there was no way I was going to be able to do this by myself. I had to have an epidural. So around 11, I got an epidural. The first epidural was put in and I didn't feel anything. However, my machine started beeping. So I told Tay to go get the nurse because it started beeping. Once it took them so long to come that I started feeling contractions. And I don't have a high pain tolerance at all. So I was like, oh my God, I feel this. I feel this. So the nurse came, the other anesthesiologist came, and she was like, well, I can't guarantee that she put it in right, but I can go ahead and pump some more liquid in you to see, to make sure you don't feel it again. So I'm like, and she's like, there's no guarantee. And I'm like, well, I didn't feel it once she put it in the first time, so I don't want to feel anything now. Like, I'm not having this baby where I can feel contractions. So she pushes more in, and I can feel it literally going through my spine, but I'm still feeling pain. So she came back like 3 times. By this time, I'm like shaking. I have the jitters. I'm like spitting up. And I'm like, babe, no. So we call the lady back again. And by this time, the same anesthesiologist have come in. And she was such a nice lady. And she was like, I can't guarantee you any results. She was like, but if you want, we can go ahead and try it again. So I looked at Tay and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm getting a second epidural. Like, it's not happening. So she came back. Once she put the second one in, I didn't feel any contractions again. I didn't feel my feet. I didn't feel anything. So the nurse kept asking if I wanted any medicine, but I was telling her that because I was already spitting up and stuff, I didn't want to feel more sick, especially because I hadn't ate. So I kept denying it. When the second shift of nurses came in, she was like, ma'am, I have to check you. And I'm like, I'm still hurting from the night out. Once she checked me again, she was just like, I think you should get the medicine. So I ended up taking this little pill or whatever, and I literally was able to sleep. So Sunday morning, when he actually came, Sunday morning around 6 a.m., I wake up and I tell Tay, I have to go number 2. I have to boo. Like, I have to push. And it just felt like, have you ever, like, been holding it all day and you just feel like you have to just push? That's how it feels. And it was just, oh my God. So I was like, tell the nurse I have to push this out. It was about 6 a.m. So it had been almost 24 hours from my water break in the previous day. So they come in and I'm like, I have to push. And they're like, let me check you. And they're like, okay, you're fully dilated. Let me call Dr. Tuggles. So Dr. Tuggles comes like 10, 15 more minutes. And I walk in and he's like, Baker, are we ready to have a baby? I'm like, Dr. Tuggles, I gotta push. Like, I have to push. And he was just like, okay, go ahead and push. So he's putting on his scrubs and everything. And as he puts on his stuff, I'm still like, oh, I have to push. So I'm pushing and he checks me and he sits down and they turn the bright lights on. And Tayari, he didn't even grab his phone. It was so much. He actually was on this side of me, but then they told him to move over here to my left. So he was on my left. Nurse Vanessa was on my right. By that time, my sister had left. And so it was just me and Tayari in the room and the doctor. And I was pushing, and then my throat was dry. So I was like, my throat. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be 3 pushes and it's done. Like, I didn't realize you have to hold your breath for so long and, like, really push with all that's in you. Like, oh, my God. So they brought me some ice chips, and I literally spit the ice out, and it just went on the doctor. It was hilarious. But so I pushed maybe like 2 or 3 more sets, and Tamir came down. All I remember seeing is his booty. And he had swallowed a little meconium, which meconium is when babies poo. So it's like the black poo. He swallowed it coming out. So they called the NICU in. They got the little syringe thingy. They pumped it out of him like within 2 seconds. And I was like, babe, I don't hear him crying. And literally he took a little cry and they laid him on my chest. So we did the chest to chest. And he literally just laid there. And I'll insert a picture here. So yeah, he literally laid there and it was the most, oh my God, like he was so cold. And I just was so excited to start breastfeeding, and they like wrapped him, and I was just like, oh my God, I just couldn't believe that I had did it. Like, to God be the glory. Like, oh my God, I made it through labor and delivery. So Yeah, so Tayari didn't technically get to cut the cord because the doctor had to cut the cord quick to get NICU in there to make sure that Tamir was okay and that he was breathing. So I always told Tay, like, I felt so bad he didn't get to do it, but it's like, next one he'll cut the cord. He'll most definitely cut the cord for the next one. So that is the story of my labor and delivery. Tamir ended up coming at 7:12 a.m. September 18th, 2016. He weighed 6 pounds, 2 ounces, and he was 19 inches long. So that's Tamir. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you guys give it a huge thumbs up. Make sure that you guys leave me a comment down below. And I look forward to hearing maybe if you guys have 2 epidurals like me, let me know. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.